where it comes that why did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or sorry, why did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and how did he write this Chaitanya Charitamrita? He writes that it was the desire of the Lord Govinda Dev when he was in his home, when Meenaketana Ramadas, he comes to the house of the brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Meenaketana Ramadas was very great devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And when he came there, this brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami had lot of respect for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but not so much for Nityananda Prabhu. And because of which he didn't give that welcome to Meenaketana Ramadas. He was worshipping Lord Chaitanya, but he was not respecting, or he didn't show respect to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu. So that made Meenaketana Ramadas a little unhappy, and he broke his flute and he went away. So in the spiritual circle, it is very important. There are two things. One is like we have to do certain things, and we should avoid certain things. We are supposed to do certain things, and if you don't do, that also becomes a aparad or mistake. Just like in the case of Indra, he was there sitting on his throne. At that time, when his spiritual master Brahaspati came, he didn't disrespect him, but he didn't got up from his seat and he didn't respect him. That's it. And our Brahaspati could understand, and he just left that place. And just because of that, he had this one of losing the power, and Bali Maharaj becomes powerful. That whole happens. So there we see that he didn't just respect, he didn't disrespect, and he is supposed to respect, he didn't do. That became a mistake. The same way, in this case, he didn't disrespect in one sense Nityananda Prabhu, but he didn't show sufficient respect. And then he had that Meenaketana Ramadas became unhappy, and when Vaishnavas became unhappy, then it is Lord becomes unhappy. Because Lord tells in one of the Vaishnava songs, Narottam Das Thakur writes that Govinda kahe na mora Vaishnava paran, tomara hridaya sada Govinda Vishram, Govinda kahe na mora Vaishnava paran. That Lord resides always in the heart of the devotees, and for the devotees, Lord is their life and soul. So we hear so many wonderful pastimes, even in this Srirangam, when the Lord was being taken away, when the Mughals attacked. At that time, they were taking the Moolavar from the temple to another place, and every day they had to protect them. And what they would do is, they would dig a hole, and one of the pujari would hold the Lord, and he would go inside and they would cover it up. That means that devotee is he is ready to give up his life for the sake of the Lord. That is their okay. It is not just the stone or something. In the Sakshi Gopal pastime also it comes that Tumi Sakshat Rajendra Nandana. You are not just this stone or the deity. Tumi Murti Nai Sakshat Rajendra Nandana. That you are not just this stone or something and this, but you are Sakshat Rajendra Nandana. Because of that only, even that younger Brahmana got that, he had so much of conviction in that, because of which he said that, my dear Lord, he is the Sakshi. And he stood in front of that and he said that he is the Sakshi. You have to give, you hear that this elder Brahmana wants to give his daughter to marriage. And when that elder Brahmana came back, and in his family, his elder son, when he was not ready to give his sister in marriage, then this younger Brahmana first only had told, see, there may be challenges, they may not want to give in their family members. But he said, no, I want to give. They'll listen to me. But now he was not able to speak anything. And when this elder Brahmana was not able to speak anything, this younger Brahmana thought that now it is my responsibility, that he has given promise in front of the Lord. And if he doesn't follow it, it is offense to the Lord. And it is not good for that elder Brahmana. For that purpose, he all the way went from here to Vrindavan. It was not that like, oh, he had promised, I want that, or I am poor, he is rich, so that let me just get married and let me get the riches. That was not his intention. His intention was that he has promised in front of the Lord, the deity, and if he doesn't follow, it is not good. So with that intention, all the way he goes and then he tells to the Lord, Lord, you are the witness, you had heard it, so now you have to come and give the witness. And the Lord says that, oh, I am a deity, how can I move? I cannot come. Then immediately says, my dear Lord, if you can speak, then you can move also. That way he tells, and the Lord says that, okay, you move ahead, I will come behind you. Then what is the guarantee that you are coming behind? You will hear the ankle bells sound. And the moment, and every day he would offer bhoga and he would keep it to the Lord. He would not, wherever you turn, I'll stay back there only. And he was very careful. He was just every day walking, and he was hearing the tinkling of the ankle bells, and then time to time he would offer the bhoga also. And at one point of the time he didn't hear the sound, and he just turned, and then Lord said, okay, now you turned, I will stay back here. That was, I think, somewhere Vidyanagar or somewhere. And then now he is there in the Sakshi Gopal, that place near just Jagannath Puri. So that way we can see that how the Lord is so reciprocative with the devotees, that he is able to interact with the devotees. And because of which the devotees directly they reciprocate with the Lord. And because the devotees love, Krishna becomes captivated, and that makes him keep the devotees in their heart. And whenever the Lord sees that my devotees are disrespected, that becomes very painful to him. So even in the scriptures we hear that even Lord Shiva says, Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnu aradhate param tasmat parataram devi tadiyanam samarchanam. That amongst all the worship, Lord Vishnu's worship is great, but amongst more than that is the worship of my devotees. Tadiyanam, the devotees or anything related to the Lord is that has more superior than worship of the Lord himself. So that way, when brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami didn't respect Miniketan Ramadas, he became unhappy and he leaves the place. And then the whole this gets practically all the inauspiciousness starts, and even Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was not happy with that, the way he was dealing. In the night when he sleeps, Nityananda Prabhu comes in the dream and he says that, oh Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, you leave this place and go to Vrindavan. And that's it. He leaves, immediately gets up, and in the morning he starts going towards Vrindavan. You can see even so many pastimes comes, even the Madhavendra Puri also, that the Lord, being pleased with their devotion, gives indication through their heart in the form of the dreams or through some devotees, and they don't take it, oh maybe it is just a dream, or it is just, who will, who has to do all these things? No. The moment Madhavendra Puri heard that I am in such and such place, please take me out, immediately he arranged all the villagers to take him away from out of that the buried area. And then not only that, after that he had to arrange for 2 years of there was Annakut was going on every day. And His Holiness Bhakti Ashtaya Vaishnava Swami Maharaj, he is very humorously he tells the pastimes. So Maharaj was telling once that Madhavendra Puri, he took out the deities and he installed it on the Govardhan and started worshipping and doing all the offerings. But Lord thought, he is supposed to, and after that he had many others also to take care of him. And every village, one by one villages, they started coming and we want to offer. So that way Chappan Bhog went on every day Annakut for 2 years. And after 2 years, Lord thought, my dear devotee Madhavendra Puri, he has got so much entangled in this management. So he was doing my direct service and now he is busy with the management. I think I should relieve him of the management. Then he came in the dream and he said that, oh Madhavendra Puri, I want Chandan. And then immediately Madhavendra Puri didn't think that, oh, now, oh, Prabhus, can you please, like, no, Lord has come in my dreams, he has told that he needs Chandan, can you please go to Jagannath Puri and get the Chandan? No. He immediately started to Jagannath Puri. And we know that on the way he comes across the Kirchor Gopinath, and how Lord steals the Kheer, and that to the intention of Srila Madhavendra Puri was not that I want to, like, no, taste it for my own sake or something. He wanted to taste it so that I can make the same Kheer for the like, no, Gopalji there in the Govardhan. But then, just because he desired, the Lord, like, stole. And for all the rest of the whole time, he is ready to be called as Kirchor. So that is the glory of the Lord, because he loves his devotees. And when the devotees are disrespected, then he becomes very unhappy. And the same thing happened to, in this case, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami leaves the home and goes to Vrindavan. When he goes to Vrindavan, he, with all the devotees who are staying, and the devotees, like, request him, why don't you please write the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Because when he went there, he had the opportunity to hear the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Raghunath Das Goswami, who would sit on the bank of Radha Kund, and he would narrate every day for 2 to 3 hours the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Raghunath Das Goswami was so fortunate, almost for around, if I am not wrong, almost around 15 to 16 years, he was there witnessing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, based on the Kadacha means the diary of Sarupa Damodara Goswami, when he got the instruction from, or the desire of all the Vaishnavas that he should write, he said that I am not qualified, I am very old, my hands are shaking. He was almost 90 plus. At that age, he says, my only desire is to please the Vaishnavas, and for that purpose, and even the Lord's, the garland of Govinda Dev also falls. Then he says that it is the desire of the Lord, I will write. And he feels that I don't know how much I will be able to write. So what he does is, in the first 14 shlokas, he writes the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. The Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela is nothing but the expansion of the first 14 verses of the Adi Leela. And apart from that, every chapter, the first verse is a summary of the whole chapter. So if we memorize the whole first verses of the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, that means we are reciting the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's how he was not sure that I'll be able to complete it or not. Let me just give it in a gist. And that was his mood. And at the end again he says that it is becoming voluminous. So, and he is so careful about writing also, as Prabhupada also he writes that the describing or the writing of the anything related to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or the Supreme Lord, it is not like the scholars or literary work or something. It is a devotional work. And because of which the scholars, they may not be able to understand even if they do PhD in that. Once Srila Prabhupada disciples came to know in the West, I don't know exactly which place, they heard that there is one professor who has done the research on Jiva Goswami, and he is there in their place. Immediately they become very happy that, oh, now here is a professor who has done the research on Jiva Goswami and he has got PhD. And they all immediately they rush to meet him. They were having all the things in the mind. The moment we go, then we knock on the door, and then the professor will come with a big Vaishnava attire, tilak, and then he will offer obeisances at the door itself, Vancha Kalpatarubhisha, and then it will be a so wonderful opportunity. We can go to he is a professor, that means in the college we can preach, all those things they were having the notion, and with that they went and so enthusiastically went and knocked the door. And a person comes with a tuxedo and then with well dressed and with a cigar in his hand, and he opens the door. Yes. can you meet such and such professor? Yes. They thought, okay, he's going to call him. Then they wait. No, we want to meet Professor such and such who has done the PhD in the life of Srila Jiva Goswami. You just tell me it is me, myself, and their jaw fell down. As if like, no, we thought how it will be, and now we are seeing that like, no, he is completely opposite. In Krishna also, Bhagavad Gita, he says, Padma Patraivam Basam. That means the lotus, although it is in the keychad, it is untouched by it. The same way he is also like, no, Padma Patraivam Basam. That although he did the research in such a devotional aspect of life of Jiva Goswami, but he was untouched by the life of Jiva Goswami. So that way it is just an external scholarship work. And that external scholarship work one will not be able to understand the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even in the life of Srila Prabhupada also one incident comes. When Srila Prabhupada was in the Allahabad, Prabhupada had a house and he had one small hall which he would give it to the devotees to come and do some pravachan or have some discussions. There was one scholar disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. His name was Dola Shastri. So he would come and he would give classes to all the devotees in that place. So one day, much later, that when Srila Prabhupada went to West and started the ISKCON, and then the Back to Godhead magazines started getting published. One of the devotee, when he had come to Jagannath Puri in the Rath Yatra time, then he was distributing this Back to Godhead magazines. And he approaches one Vaishnava and he says, please take. And this Vaishnava, seeing the white-bodied devotee Vaishnava in the dhoti kurta and tilak, he becomes astonished and he says that, where are you from? Or who made you Vaishnava? Or who taught you all these things? Then he showed this book and he showed no, this is my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, and he taught me. And he came to the West and he spread this movement. And then this person was Dola Shastri. He said, I used to go to his house and then I would give pravachan. One day it so happened that he was speaking on this shloka of Prithvi te acheta nagaradigram sarvatra pachar hoiba moranam. And he was giving the explanation to that, and he said that actually it is mentioned Prithvi te acheta nagaradigram. In this, Prithvi means we should take it as the Bharata, India, because Lord Chaitanya's glories will be spread across India in each and every nook and corner. Because our spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur already has established 64 mathas, so that way it is going to happen. So Prabhupada would come, and Prabhupada, because he would take care of his business and everything, sometimes he would be able to attend and sometimes he would just sit on the steps and he would be chanting, and a little bit he listening or continue chanting. That day when Prabhupada came, he was sitting on the steps and he was listening to this explanation of this Dola Shastri, and he said that it should not be taken literary way, it should be taken as a poetic way. In poetic way they say that, oh, no, your teeth are like the jasmine birds, or your eyes are like the lotus. That doesn't mean that exactly lotus, it is comparative. So he said that it is like that only. And the whole class got over, and after that Dola Shastri was about to leave. Prabhupada was there. That time Abhay Charan Prabhu. Then he started talking to Dola Shastri. He said that, Prabhuji, you were explaining that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says Prithvi te acheta nagaradigram, but you are telling that only Bharata, Prithvi, it will not happen in Prithvi. Why? But when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying Prithvi, it has to be whole world. But then he started telling. Then Prabhupada said, if that were to be the case, another place in the Chaitanya Caritamrita also it says that Bharata bhumite manushya janmaja janma sarthaka kari kara paropakar. Then there also Bharata is used. So here also it would have been told that Bharata acheta nagaradigram, but here it is told Prithvi te acheta nagaradigram. So that means it has to be Prithvi. Then they had the discussion, and then Prabhupada at the end he told, actually Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that Prithvi te ache, that means it is going to happen throughout the world. And he looked directly in the eyes of Dola Shastri and he said, one day a fool who has complete faith in the order of his spiritual master will make it happen, but it will not be you. So then he was recollecting that he had that conviction that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that means it has to happen, and now Srila Prabhupada has done it. So that was the glory of Srila Prabhupada, that he took the order of his spiritual master as his life and soul. And Prabhupada also writes that the Baladev Vidyabhushan Pad's commentary on this Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Ekeha Kurunandana, when he read that, in that Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan Pad writes that a disciple should make the instruction of his spiritual master as his life and soul. And when he heard it, like no, it was made so impact that he took the instruction of Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as his life and soul, and then he went ahead despite so many challenges. And Srila Prabhupada also has sorry, here it is mentioned that it is not a scholarly presentation, it is the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and it is for the devotees or relish. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also, once Radhesham Prabhu was explaining, when almost in this topic only, that why did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote in Bengali? Was it that he was not able to write in Sanskrit, that's why he wrote in Bengali? Or Chaitanya Charitamrita is for the little less intelligent people who cannot understand Sanskrit, for them Bengali? No, he was explaining that actually the most of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time, Gaudadesha was from the Bengal and the Odisha where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed. And there they all understand Bengali. And anything which we hear in our own mother tongue, it becomes much more, we can really appreciate it. Like all of you are from here, this like Kerala. If somebody gives class in English and the Malayalam, when you hear in Malayalam and like relate to this one, that makes it more like appealing, or it directly little bit touches the heart. Even first time I remember in 2016, I was requested to come for Janmashtami class in Mangalore. Till that time I was staying in Pune, and first time I came, and in the next day, Prabhupada Parents Day, morning they asked me to give a class. I started speaking hardly, like 4 or 5 devotees were there because of the previous day whole celebration and all. It is most of the devotees are like all the congregation devotees only had to take care of everything. And when I spoke in Kannada, I really, although it was not many devotees were there, but I just somehow felt very joyful and happy that just a thought came that, oh, so nice, maybe next year if they request, I'll be happy to come and serve. And I think the Lord in the heart hears the desire of the devotees, and after 2 years they requested me, can you go to Bangalore only to serve. So that way I saw that how Lord sees this one and prayers or the aspirations, and he fulfills. And the same way Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote this in Sanskrit language, in English, Bengali. At the same time, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wanted to show that, oh, it is not that it is only for the less intelligent people who cannot understand Sanskrit. That's why if you see carefully, the first verse of each chapter is in Sanskrit. And in between, whenever he has to glorify the Lord, at times he brings out the Sanskrit shlokas, and many places he brings directly the shlokas from the Bhagavatam. So that way, the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, it is not that they are not scholarly, but the purpose of this is different. So that's what he wanted to highlight. And following in the footsteps of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, Srila Prabhupada also, when he started translating, Prabhupada wanted to complete the whole Bhagavatam and everything, but in between Prabhupada thought that I may or may not be able to complete the whole. That's why he gave the Krishna book, the summary study of the 10th canto. And apart from that, at one point of the time, he stopped Bhagavatam and started Chaitanya Charitamrita, because he wanted to see that if Chaitanya Charitamrita is not given, it is like one has done the undergraduation, post-graduation, but the PhD part is left out. And once in there is a Vidyapit in Govardhaniko village, there Gaurang Prabhu was teaching the devotees, and then he took out the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and he started reading, which is there in Sanskrit, and he read one whole page and asked, how many of you could understand fully? Out of the whole class, maybe around 10% of them, they raised their hands, yes, we could understand. And then how many of you could understand at least like partly? Maybe another 10% hand got raised. Then afterwards, he took out the Prabhupada's same shloka and read out the whole page. And he asked, how many of you could understand, like no, little bit? Everybody raised hands. How many of you could understand wholly? Everybody raised hands. And then he said, this is the glory of Srila Prabhupada, that he gave us that which you may not be able to understand if it is directly given by the Acharyas. Although the Acharyas have given so voluminous, there is so much of treasury, but it is like a honey bottle which is locked. And no matter how much ever we lick, we will not be able to taste the sweetness of the honey unless it is opened and given. And Srila Prabhupada has done that by giving all the Acharyas commentaries in English. And that too we know that Srila Prabhupada, when he was translating the Bhagavatam, he had the commentary of almost around 12 Acharyas, and going through all those things, he was trying to give what is relevant for today and what will be practically a devotee can apply in his life. That's why we see in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also that shloka after shloka, shloka after shloka, there is nothing directly related to Mahamantra. Like Antakale Chamameva Smaran Mukta Kalevaram, Prabhupada writes that once, because of this, devotee should chant Hare Krishna mantra. Almost 3-4 shlokas continuously writes Mahamantra. That way Prabhupada didn't want that anybody that somebody misses anything. Any page, anywhere they read, they should be able to completely get the at least essence that they should chant. So that was the desire of Srila Prabhupada, and because of which so many devotees' lives have got transformed. As here it is coming about the writing the book, Prabhupada also writes that here. One who follows in his footsteps do not have to cater to the public. Srila Kaviraj Goswami and one who follows in his footsteps do not have to cater to the public. That means it's not that always you have to satisfy public, because it's not possible for everyone satisfy everyone, that is telling. Their business is simply to satisfy the previous acharyas and describe the pastimes of the Lord. So that way Srila Prabhupada also, when he was writing it, he was not writing it to show that, oh, I know Bhagavad Gita or I can present it or something. He was writing it just for the pleasure of his spiritual master. In the introduction also, if you read, there it comes that he writes that I am writing it, although there are so many more than 800 or 900 commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, I am just writing this one more because of the order of my spiritual master. I don't have any qualification. If any qualification is there, it is the blessings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And because the Prabhupada's mood was to please his spiritual master, whatever he gave, it transformed the lives of so many. So once there were around 3-4 devotees from Russia. They had come to Srirangam to take darshan. They went around, took darshan of all the places, and they came in front of the Jagannath Baldev Subhadra deities which are there, which were worshipped by the descendants of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. In front of their house it is there. Then they came there and saw the deities, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come there for 4 months. Practically everywhere taking the darshan and all, many times they would be so emotional, and out of joy tears would be rolling from their eyes. And seeing that at one point of the time, one of the Sri Vaishnava devotee who was taking them around, he said that, I'm feeling like, no, seeing you astonished that all of you are not from India, from abroad, but still you have so much of devotion. I am born and brought up in Srirangam, but I don't have so much of devotion that when I see the Lord, like, no, tears roll in my eyes. Then immediately hearing this, one of the devotees said, like, no, Prabhu, actually if you want to glorify Srila Prabhupada, because if you hear about our past lives, you will not be speaking this. Because we are so fallen, it is only by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we are able to come here and appreciate all these things. Then he said, before coming to Bhakti, I was a butcher. Like, I was working in the slaughterhouse, and my job was to cut the heads of all the animals. And the number of heads I cut, as per that I will be paid. That means the more I do, the more I will get paid. And one day I was in my job with the apron, with the instrument, and the whole the rubber apron was dripping with the blood. And I wanted to take a break. I came to the cafeteria, and there I just came to drink some tea and have some snacks. I came there, the person gave me a bread and tea, and I was just drinking. But what intrigued me was that the paper, because that paper was in English, and I started wondering how come any paper in English has come here, because that whole locality is more or less of Russian. And he saw that, and he read the English part, and then it made him so much sense that he thought, oh, amazing. He asked the person that, can you give me the other pages? He said, I gave this paper to everyone. They threw it. Oh, where did you get this? And the person said, actually some people were walking by, they gave me, and I didn't understood anything, so I just tore it and gave it as a paper to hold the bread. Where did they go? When did it happen? Just a few minutes before. Where did they go? They just passed this way. And he practically, in one sense, in that same attire only, he ran, the stains of the blood and everything. And the devotees, when they were standing, they were doing kirtan, and they saw, and then they got shocked. Who is this person? Whether a psychic or some mad person who is coming to hit or something. And he ran near them, frantically he was asking that, can you give me this page? Can you give me this page? And then they said, they understood, okay, he has come to ask something. And then they gave one book, and then he read it, and then he understood that how breaking this regulatory principle, especially the meat eating and the law of karma, when he understood that what I am doing is giving me more and more karma, then he thought I should stop it, and he changed his job. And he had one of his friend also, he gave him the book, and he got also inspired, and they left that job, and they were doing some other job, and now they had come to Srirangam for the yatra. And he said that is our life, it's all because of Srila Prabhupada. And that one page was from the book Science of Self-Realization. And that one page had transformed their life completely, brought them from that life of darkness to the life of devotional service. That is the glory of Srila Prabhupada, and we are so fortunate that we have this wonderful work, which otherwise even Bhaktivinoda Thakur could not get the Caitanya Caritamrita, original, all the text. And even though Bhakti Vinod Thakur got, he wrote in Bengali. And Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur also wrote in Bengali only, although he wrote many of things in English. But at least for me, being from the South India, I didn't know anything about Gaurang Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. And if it were not to be Srila Prabhupada taking this message far and wide and spreading it across, I'm sure that I would have never heard about the glory of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu, and would have not got the blessings of their lordships. So it is all glory to Srila Prabhupada, that because of whose mercy, at least I got to know, and I'm here. And I'm sure with many of you also, because in the South India, even they come, we have to tell them, okay, it is Krishna Balram. If you tell Gaur Nitya, they don't understand. So that way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give the topmost thing of this world, that is a Goloka Premadana, to the most fallen people of the Kali Yuga in the most easiest way through the Harinam. Although he gave that, but we being in this area, we were not fortunate, and that fortune was made by Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki. So, and Srila Prabhupada gave it, everybody took it, but few devotees took it more seriously to their heart, and I am seeing that this is one of the beautiful communities. I was so touched to come here, and I had heard about this, like South Vrindavan, because some of the devotees in Bangalore also are were staying in Bahrain, and they would tell, oh, there is a beautiful temple in Kerala, South Vrindavan. And Narahari also had to come because of some services. Then he, after coming back, he was glorifying with, as we hear that Lord Chaitanya would glorify devotees with 5 mouths. Like that only Narahari Chaitanya Prabhu was also glorifying this with so much that I had got a desire that okay, that I should visit. And when I came here, the way the dedication of the devotees, all devotees coming together and making the temple, and not just a small center or something. Literally the whole temple and being the temple standards being maintained. It's really very, very, very inspiring to see. And even not only this, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet also is being installed, and everyday Abhishekam is being done, and all the 3 altars and 3 pujaris. It's not so easy. I was there in Pune. I know that even though there are so many brahmacharis are there, but to schedule them and make them, because they keep traveling, or somebody health goes down and all, it is not so easy. But despite all those things, right now, although few devotees, few families have already shifted, but still it's happening. It's really so inspiring. So I thank each and every one of you for being so inspirational, and I'm pretty sure that whoever comes to see this place, they will be inspired. And if more families they come and see, then they will also be inspired that oh, we also can do it. Is like a model. Many times it is who will bell the cat. Many have the desire, but somebody should start it. So I'm pretty sure that this can become one of such project which will inspire many, many more projects to come in ISKCON as an offering to Srila Prabhupada. So I offer my prostrated obeisances at the lotus feet of all of you, because of all of your dedication, such wonderful project you have offered to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any comments or queries or reflections? I am open.